just think love is possible when you believe that you love is possible when you embrace it with ease. Everything you want is yours for the asking. Love is possible when you believe that it is. Don't give in and don't you doubt.
Afternoon, and thank you for being here at Intellectual Radio with Here's the Light with Zemrah. And look at Ed with his hand up. You ain't in school. And of course, we have Miss Pamela Wilkes joining us.
Hey.
Hello.
Our
Thank you so
relationship
much.
gal.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Enthusiast.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Well, anyway, we're enthused that you're here to give us some words of wisdom. And we're going to talk a little bit today about a couple of things. We're going to kind of piggyback off of our conversation on mental health
Oh.
and the relationship with mental health and how you think, how you manage life emotionally, and just the real essence of friendship. Friendship is very, very important to me. I think friendship is the ultimate of everything. When you have people that you know you can depend on, you can count on, and in turn they can count on you. I think friendship is a gift. You know, like we've said in the past, um, friends are far and few, but I mean acquaintances. I'm sorry, are far and few, but real friends are not many. So when you know that you have someone that you really and truly can treasure, that's what you do. You treasure genuine friendship. I think that's very
Oh,
important.
this is a new area that we're starting to get into mental health. That we start to admit that maybe there's something mentally wrong with people. That maybe we might need some type of help and get it. Maybe there's some reasons why people do what they do. This is a good topic. This is the first time we've gotten into it, and because they used to say all the time that most of the crime is committed by thugs and gang members and all like that. But actually, when it came down to other people doing it, like the other folks, when they committed crime, they said, well, maybe they had a mental problem. You know, like we didn't have a mental
Well,
problem.
you know, some
Right.
people are just like that guy that ran over those in that park where the seniors and all was giving that parade or whatever, and that guy just took
Mhm.
his car and ran. They said that he was had a mental issue.
Well,
So you know,
every,
you'll be surprised. Mental illness is very prevalent. It's
everybody
not,
who commits
and
some
you got a
type of
lot of
crime.
people um, being let out of the institution because of whatever reason. They got a lot of that because they say even because of COVID, even. But you have a lot of people out here that don't know how to manage uh, them their mental health, and they just do some crazy things, and it's really not their fault, but it's unfortunate when you have to lose your life from someone that's going through mental health. So Pam, on your because we were talking a little bit about people committing suicide, and I'd be saying you committing suicide, you have plenty of money, where money doesn't mean everything, but you got plenty of money, you have a good life, you have a good family support, all of that, but yet you still have the mindset or the thought to commit suicide. Where do you think that their head would be coming from? And we're talking about relationship with your mind and your being. Where do you think that that would come from, Pam? Because see,
Well,
you happy all the time. Everybody.
yeah, and I have to really remember that. And I've had conversations with several individuals who have talked about it and have really worked at trying to help me understand because I know I live in a certain space, but it's I live there because of my upbringing and my support system. And a lot of people sometimes feel that they don't have that.
Right.
You know, it's so important to have a firm foundation. It's important to have a support system. And, we use words like support system, but what is that? What is a support system?
What is it?
What is it when you have support? And in my mind, it's um, knowing knowing that you have someone that you can turn to, that you trust with your feelings, with your emotions, with your conversation.
That's
Some
important.
people feel that they don't have that. So if you don't have that, then you're going to feel alone. And I hear people saying that I feel so all alone. I feel like I'm the only one. And how can you be the only one when you have heard that people have committed suicide before? So everything that anyone is going through, somebody have gone through that before.
Mhm.
One of the things that I really do say, and I believe with all of me, is your thinking, your thoughts. See, it's your thinking and your feelings. When your thinking and feelings faculties agree, that's when a demonstration comes, good or bad. And so before anything happens to you, you have to learn to manage
Hmm.
your mind.
Your mindset.
You are the
Absolutely.
master of your
Yeah.
mind. But if you've never been taught that, if no one have spoken to you about the power that you have within you, your thought patterns, I just I don't know how a person feels when they decide to commit suicide or when they're thinking about it, um, to take their own life. They're having so many things that's not going their way. They're hurting, and
And TV a lot of times don't help it either, because you
well, we
get
understand in this world that we live in now, social media, TV, they glorifying, they making it feel like if you're in a place where you commit suicide, then it's not like it's okay, but it's so understandable. And instead of it being understandable, let's see how we can dissect it and prevent it, more
yes.
so than having the conversation that people are committing suicide. My heart was broken when I heard one of the judge sister, uh,
Died from mental
So
illness.
that
she
was
she
And
Naomi.
committed
that was the
Was
suicide.
mother.
that Naomi?
That was the mother,
Naomi,
Naomi. Yeah.
oh my gosh, she's such talent, such beauty.
Getting ready to go
I
on
mean,
tour.
and what was going on in her head? So we don't know. And so I did she not have that support system, which is what we'd say. I mean, her daughters, her grandchildren, her people. So I don't know. So my thing is, we must teach our children. We must teach our children the power of your mind and teach them that you can control your mind. Now, there may be a chemical imbalance in your brain. I've heard Dr. Phil on so many occasions talking to young people, and there's something going on in their brain
A
that they can.
chemical
Yes,
imbalance.
there's a
Yeah.
chemical imbalance, and there's
Mhm.
medication for that, there's treatment for that, and you shouldn't be afraid of that. You shouldn't be
Absolutely
afraid to
not.
go and get treatment. You shouldn't be afraid to speak to someone professional. You shouldn't be afraid before you get to that. And nowadays they have so many programs that talk about mental illness, that talk about suicide. They have a hotline
Hotline. Yeah, I was just gonna
that
say that.
that if you're feeling that,
Yeah, but Pam, that's only recently
yes,
that they've had programs where they say it's okay, that makes it
mm-hmm,
acceptable.
mm-hmm,
Before it was frowned upon.
yes.
You tell somebody you had a mental problem, or you were afraid to say it, or even admit it, or even get help for it because you might get fired from your job.
But do you think that word is something? See, the word mental illness, do you think they
It's
can
just
put
a
a
condition.
softer or sweeter,
Yes, they
here
can.
I go with a softer or sweeter
Well, I mean,
word to it
you would
that
you
would
would
help you not be fearful?
They can.
You
They
wouldn't
can.
tell anybody, you know what, I have a mental, no, you wouldn't tell them that like that. You just say, you talk to someone and say that I have issues that I need to deal with, I need to open up and talk about. Because when you tell somebody about mental illness, I got mental, a lot of times people going to turn around and go the other way because they think you might
Snap on
That's
them.
snap on them,
that's my
shoot them.
point. That's my
That's what's
point.
scary.
That's my point. The
Need a
word
mental
mental
break.
illness.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's my point. I mean, what else can we call it so that it won't be so frightening, not only to you, but to someone else?
Well, you can call it anything as long as you start calling it something early in life, and talking to
Yes.
your children
That's what I say.
about it.
I,
About
Yeah.
I
it.
think we need to talk to our kids early on.
Definitely.
Um, um, if you recall some
Just
years ago
emotional.
that bullying thing.
Hmm.
See, you have children that have committed suicide because they
They
were
were
bullied
bullied.
at
Yes.
school. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mm.
So what was done about that at the very beginning? I mean, where did the parents, the school, the teacher, the administrator
They were absent. They weren't paying attention to
see?
their children. That's what they read, what they watch on social media, what their mental condition is, teaching them to talk to someone who actually listens to you. They
Mhm.
might go their whole life and not find one or two people that are actually listen, or
Right.
even look in their eyes when they talk to them and say, "What's going on with you?" Very few people do that. They try to avoid
Just
any problems that you
ask.
might. No,
Just talk
they
to
don't know
your
who to
kids.
ask. They
Yeah.
learn
Because
early in life who not to ask.
right, because a lot of times, bipolar is a mental
Yeah,
illness.
that's
A lot of
another one.
people are bipolar and not even aware of it either. They have a condition where their temperament is up and down, sideways and backwards, and
And they
and
hear
all over the
voices.
place.
I've heard of
Yeah.
people that say that they hear voices. Now to hear voices in your brain, and now that's I think that's schizophrenia too.
Yeah, but it's not a brain condition. It's a spiritual condition. Your brain is a physical uh, element inside your head.
Hmm.
There's a difference between your brain and your soul and your spirit.
Hmm.
Your soul
And
is
your mind.
and your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You get the brain, the mind, the spirit.
Hmm.
Spirit is always there.
Right.
The spirit is bigger than you are. Let's say you live inside your spirit because your spirit goes before you go anywhere.
Right.
So the energy that you put off comes through your spirit. So it gets there before you arrive.
Yeah.
So it's not
That's why
inside.
you have
That's
to always
right.
listen to
It's,
your
it's
God
not
That's
in,
so
mind.
true.
it's not inside of you. You inside of it.
Oof. And see that right there is what I'm saying being taught early on. We've been I don't want to bombard the religious world, but
Well,
they've been
this
we've
spiritual world.
been taught
You can invade the spiritual world without being religious. There are
right.
1,000 religions, but it had nothing to do with the spirit.
But that is the entity that people have learned to connect with spirit supposedly.
No, they
You
haven't done it.
They didn't do it, but that is what it was designed to do. I mean, you got people that believe in God and they believe a certain way that God is, and that is not God. You have people believing that God is a punishing and rewarding entity. God does not punish and reward. God is good and absolute good. But
Yes.
you're taught that God is angry. God is jealous.
If you don't
God
do
is
this,
if
this will
if you don't
happen.
if God don't forgive, if you don't forgive, God don't forgive you. What? But that's what people have been taught.
Yeah.
So you fearful of God rather than understanding.
Well, but that was the plan.
Well, I know it was the plan, but some people don't know that that was the plan, and that's why we're sitting here today talking about mental illness,
Yes.
because people don't understand the allness of who they are. They don't understand the power that they have. They don't understand how wonderful God is. And you don't have to call it God. You could call it anything other than you,
But
but you are.
that which created you.
Yes.
Exactly, because it's something bigger than you. Because when you can't do it for yourself, I mean, no one is an island. There's things that you can't. Sometimes things are just very difficult
See,
for you.
but
So,
Yeah.
when you accept the things that are much bigger than you, the things you're going through seem very small.
yeah.
They're not as big as you think they are when you accept something that's much bigger than you are.
Well, you have to be taught that,
So that's
especially as a child.
but nobody
That-
teach that to
That's right.
children.
That's what
They don't
I,
even take
yeah,
them to
yeah.
church to even search for their own
Now
spirit.
that
Exactly.
that's one of the things that I think is just, it's almost like you go find it for yourself, and that's why these a lot of these young folks wind up in cults,
Yeah.
and they wind up seeking knowledge that can really and truly disturb their minds
Hmm.
and have them out there just
Doing
just out there
anything.
doing it right,
Yeah,
doing
See,
anything.
believe in anything.
most adults don't think children are listening,
And they are.
and they really are listening to everything you say and everything you do,
Absolutely,
especially if it has
absolutely.
anything to do with anything positive. They are absorbing it.
That's
I
right.
told my grandson, I said, you have to spend a portion of your time studying the field that you want to be into. You don't need no books. You don't need no school. You don't need anything. You need to have some personal time that you pick up some kind of publication that deals with what you want to be. And if you do it every day on a particular hour, I just threw
Hmm.
out something.
But why did you say he don't need any books? But
You
then you said
don't.
pick up a publication.
But you don't need anything specific. You need the energy. You need the thought. You need the idea to be in your head. Look for something that's geared towards what you want in life. And if you don't be specific, they won't have to go look for. They'll look for anything because you're just giving them the initiative to do it.
Oh, got it.
All
Okay.
I want you to do is give you the intent. Like the universe has an intent for your life. How it goes about that intent doesn't matter. Just as long as it has an intent. If you have an intent to be something, search out that. So if somebody tells you what to do, you go do that. But you want to look at you can think about it on your own and think about all things related to that. So I
Yeah,
just say,
that
Hmm.
makes
let me give
sense.
you a direction at 4 o'clock every day. I want you to stop and for 30 minutes research. That's what you want to be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good
This is
idea.
years ago.
Mhm.
He repeated to me yesterday. I said, what do you do every day? He said, I just watch TV, play some games. That's what else you do. He said, well, every day around 4 o'clock, I pick up a publication or I go online and research computer programming because that's what I want to be.
Mhm.
Wow.
He remembered that from years ago. I was shocked that he knew
See?
exactly the
Well,
same
Yeah.
time I
Jihad is
told him.
smart. He's
Mhm.
a smart young man.
So if
I'm
you do
proud of him.
children like that and give them just a little bit of something to hang on to and say, this world has been here before. Everything in this world is not that important. The important thing is how do you find relationship with your spirit, which is going to outlive you, and you will live another life after you leave this life. He
And
said,
that is when that's where your passion comes in
but
at.
you can't relate to that because it's going to take him years to understand how it works. But you plant the seed,
Right. You put it
so
in
when
his
he gets
mind.
to the end of
It's
his rope,
computer.
he'll know to tie a knot, so he don't slip because there's something
Hmm.
bigger than what he thinks he wants, because it's bigger than this world. And if you don't have anything, and if your dreams don't scare you, they're too big, they just frighten you, then your God ain't big enough. You need to have a mission or uh, a hunger for something much bigger than you can ever accomplish in your lifetime.
And children need to know
They
that.
need to know
That
something that big to
yeah,
give them something to shoot for outside of what they see every day.
every day.
Because they think this is the limit. This is
Right.
it. It's not.
Well, some of them thinking, and now
Yeah,
because with
because
technology they
that's how
can
that's how you
do
lose that's
anything.
how you lose hope.
Yeah.
And when you lose hope, people perish.
Well, these young people, they don't have to lose hope for nothing because the
They don't have to, but
opportunities,
they do.
yeah, and that's unfortunate.
'Cause
But again, that's where the relationship with your parents and the teachings come in at, because this world is so right now, it's so many things going on that's very difficult for young people to even relate to,
Right.
because even with this COVID for the last couple of years, it's just been so um, debilitating and so harsh, really, because there's so many things they haven't been able to do, and it's just been very, very
Well, all of that
difficult.
was by design as well.
Yeah.
The COVID and how it was handled, and all of that, and we understand that. I mean, if you know that we talked earlier about common sense. There's just not
it's not
enough common
it's not it's
sense.
not common.
Right, right. So The most important thing I've say getting back to young people, because older folks, they've set in their ways. You
Yeah,
can't tell them
we never
nothing.
heard of
You
such
know,
a thing, especially in our race of people. Suicide and the whole world's trying to kill you, you gonna kill yourself?
right?
That was out of the
Exactly,
question.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, how in the world do you come up?
Other than
Go to war if you
other
want
than
that.
when they was on the slave ships and they would jump overboard.
Right, you did because
But
they,
they
They
wasn't
knew they
thinking that
better
was
jump on.
suicide.
that wasn't
They
that
right
was
that was survival to them,
right to them
and that was
survival.
fear
Right.
because they didn't know where they were going.
They didn't know
So that wasn't, I
because
guess.
they knew they weren't gonna be no slave. They knew that much.
Well, they didn't even know what that was. They didn't know where they were
Oh,
going.
they had an idea. The ship's been going on for years and years. They got
Well,
people
the
coming
first
back.
group didn't know.
The group that came back with
That
them,
second group, maybe.
the second group
But
that
I'm
came
just
back
glad that,
and told them what was
listen, this is
going
how I
on.
look at it. I'm just glad my ancestors made it over here, because I wouldn't be here today.
And we had to have
Hello,
you as
We had to have
hello.
you.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
And if you
Dad.
think about that,
Oh,
you're here today because your ancestors didn't say, "Shoot, I ain't going over there. I don't know what they're doing over there. I ain't going. I'm going to jump overboard, even though
well,
the sharks was."
well,
No,
there was a percentage of us who had to
yeah,
be
we had to
instilled
get here. Hello, thank
instilled
you,
with the
Jesus.
spirit in order for us to take it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Somebody had to take it. So some of us it was instilled with that spirit to hang in there,
hang in there.
and
That's
be
what
the
I say.
sacrificial lamb
Hang
for the
in there.
rest of the
And
world.
for the rest of the
For the
world.
rest of the
Do
world.
you know how precious you? That's the other thing that I say. And see, the other thing I don't think that we talk enough about is the beauty of life and living.
Yes.
I think we're so busy living our lives and our jobs,
Thinking
our
about
children.
the end.
Yeah, right. Well, that's another thing that the church has taught you is that you're going to get yours in the by and by.
No, skip that.
You're going to get it in heaven. We're not going to go into that, but I'm saying, so you don't think about living wonderful lives, happy, joyful, ridiculous things that you can enjoy here on this beautiful planet.
Yes.
There's so many places that you can go, that when you just see the magnificence of God, or if you don't want to say God, the creator. I remember the first time I went to Sedona in Arizona, and the mountains. I mean, I could just close my eyes now and see how beautiful it was. No man made that,
Hmm.
and it was
Absolutely
so
not.
beautiful. I mean, going to Florida and the ocean and Martha's Vineyard and the beautiful, I mean, places are so beautiful. Traveling to Canada and then going abroad
And it's been around for
for
millions and
millions
millions
of
of
years,
years.
and just to enjoy that. So we're not taught that. So our kids, they don't know nothing about that. They're not thinking about that. They thinking about how they
Grow,
gonna get from one end of the block to the other without somebody beating them up.
Yeah. Or
the
killing them.
world is
Right,
a 6-inch screen
exactly. They looking at TV,
or
or
the iPhone.
they're not
That's the
thinking
world.
about how beautiful life can be. And then we don't teach our children, and I'm just saying, those of us that are African Americans, or Africans in America, that were brought over here in the slave ship during the North Atlantic slave trade. You got to say all that, because that's a whole nother conversation as well.
That's another identity.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So there's so much that we don't know about planning your future, rather than just letting it happen.
Yeah. Well, you got
You
to have a
know,
plan. Like we always say, you have a plan and work that plan.
right,
And you have
right.
to also believe that the plan that you're planning, it can work if you work it.
So I'm gonna tell you, I challenge young parents to challenge their children, challenge themselves. Turn the TV off.
Unplug.
Take your kids' uh,
Cell
cell
phones,
phones. Sit at the
iPads.
table and talk about it. If you don't know what to talk about, just talk.
Period.
Yes.
Just start conversation. Even if you just sitting there and you just gonna start laughing. So, Mama, what we gonna talk about? Well, I don't know what you want to talk about. I don't know. You the one wanting to send me here. Well, let's just talk about anything. What you do is
How was your
just start
day?
talking.
Yes. How
See,
was your
but
day? Conversation.
what you're not gonna do is talk on the phone. I
Right.
see people out to dinner,
Yeah.
couples having dinner together, not even talking to you. They both on their cell phone. Why did you come out together if you're gonna talk on your cell phone? Cell phones should be put away, and you should study the art of conversation. Trying to communicate, that's a skill,
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's
but you
all
have
by
to practice it.
design.
You
That's
have to
all by
practice it.
Yeah.
design to keep us disconnected.
That's where you
We
go back.
have to
That's why there's
understand
mental
that.
illness, because
Yes,
we
I'm
don't.
telling you, it is all by design. There's some things that worked in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Hmm.
and that connection of family, that connection, it works. And with social media, with some parts of social media is great, but you've got to be able to reconnect to the human side of
Yes.
us.
Yes.
There's value there. um there's value in looking at someone eye to eye, looking at, touching, feeling. There's value in that,
Yes, it
and we
is.
have gotten away from that.
Yes.
And I just challenge people to hey, see if you could do it.
Give it a shot.
Yeah,
Try it one time.
just try it.
I mean, because if you try it, you'll sure like it. And we're here at IntellectualRadio.com with Here's the Life with Zemrah and Ed, and have Miss Fabulous joining us. And we're going to hear a little something from Love is Possible. Check us out on all streaming Love is Possible.
Nowhere else but right here over IntellectualRadio.com.
Mother, mother, there's far too many of you crying. And brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. Lord, you know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. The war is not the answer, but only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find.
You're back at Here's the
way.
Life with Zemrah and Ed, and Miss Pamela Wilkes, who we always enjoy all of her wisdom, and uh, we just love you, Miss Pamela
Oh,
Wilkes.
thank you. Right back at you. You are two of my favorite people in the universe. And I know some other folks in the universe, but y'all my favorite.
Well, we surely love you too. So we're really hoping that people understand that if you're going through anything emotional or whatever's going on, that you need to talk to someone. That's the first and foremost thing. You got to need to
See,
know that you can seek out some type of
see,
information.
but I say, everyone should talk to someone because everyone has a
Here we
problem.
go.
Everyone has an illness. Everyone has a condition. You can't help but have a condition if you've been through what we've been through. You never got any therapy for anybody else. You need some therapy if you have never had any. And if you think
Right.
that you are okay, then you really need help
Yep.
because something is wrong with you and wrong with the person that you're talking to. That's why you don't like them. That's why they don't get along because everybody has a problem because I know where they came from. And if you come from a town that was a coal mining town and you show up with coal all over you, I know where you've been. You've been through everything. You've been through racism, you've been through slavery, and you are descendants of Holocaust survivors. You're a Holocaust survivor, and you're the children of Holocaust survivors, and you still got the same stain in the same condition that you never got treated for.
But you can't say that because
Yes,
you
I
got some.
can.
No, you can't
Yes,
because
I
you got
can.
to say. You got to be able to say.
I
Some
don't care.
people, Ed. Some people have sought uh, uh, therapy or have talked
Oh
to
no, I say you
someone.
didn't seek.
You said
I say
everybody,
everybody needs to.
but a
But
lot
do
of
you
people have, so you can't
but
just narrow
but
it
now,
like that.
now let me ask this question. Do you think that once you are in therapy, you should be in therapy for the rest of your life? Or you should be in
No,
therapy for months and
I
years?
think you should be in therapy until your condition gets to the point where you can support yourself and support everyone around you with positive thoughts and attitude and a spirit.
Well, see,
If
that's what
you
the
can do
therapists need
that,
to be talking
you are
about. I
never
don't
going
know
to
if
get
they
to the
are.
level that you should be because your level is perfection, which you're not going to get to in this lifetime or the next.
Now, have you ever been to therapy?
Yeah, I'm in therapy every day.
See, that ain't the same therapy. You talk about some.
What? What? What?
He said, I'm in therapy.
No,
I
no.
got to be.
I'm talking about, have you
A
sought out
professional,
therapy?
a
You can't
professional.
sit up talking about
No,
some
I'm in
everybody
the
need to
real.
go
You a
I'm
to
professional
therapy.
I'm talking to
therapist.
the real therapist. I'm not talking these
Hello.
people need therapy themselves. My therapist need therapy, and
I
he don't
think
think so.
no,
Huh?
Talk to him.
no.
Pam,
Listen, let
tell
me
him.
No,
say
she
this.
ain't got
No,
to
no,
talk to me
no,
Pam
no,
about
no,
explain
that.
to you.
no. What I think too is, let me see if I can understand what you're saying, because you're saying that we all need help. We all need some form of therapy. So if you're able to recognize that, then just like I said on the offset, if you have someone in your life that you can share your thoughts, your feelings, and you trust them with those thoughts and feelings, that's good.
That's who you can talk with.
Now, if you are having major mental problems, and that's sometimes hard to admit, I would imagine, then you should talk to a professional who have probably gone to school. But let me tell you something. A lot of people who are professionals, and I'm not trying to get on y'all, so don't be trying to say that I'm talking about professionals that need help, because a lot of professionals need help too. But I mean, I'm just saying that if you have a good friend, do you know the value of a good
That's
friend
what I was just saying.
who listen to you? And see, my thing is always this. My thing is always this. When you are sitting alone and you're thinking, who can I call to talk to? If you have someone after you thought that, that's good. What if you don't have someone?
I did.
You see what I'm saying? What if you don't have someone to talk to, if you don't know?
But you always got someone.
Yes,
Because I get in my car. I love being when I'm in my car driving. I'm just talking all my thoughts out.
I'm not saying that, because you're spiritual. You understand that you talk to the creator, and the creator listens. Some people don't know that.
I
Some
understand
people
that.
don't understand that power, because that's the inner power in you, which is wonderful. Now, some people, I don't understand how they don't know it, because they've gone to church all their lives and they know the
But
power of God. And
the
I
church ain't
know,
gonna teach you that.
I know it's to some degree, but it's like, I'm not going to call no names, but I'll say this about Whitney Houston. I couldn't understand Whitney Houston. That one song that she sung, "Come to You, I Come to You."
Oh,
I mean, every single
that's when
time
she
I
came back.
hear
That's when
that
she came
song.
back. That's when she came back to singing. When
Yeah,
that
but
song
she
came
she
out.
look what she did to herself.
Yeah,
That's the time that you
and
go.
she had a lot of good support.
Oh, yeah.
So it
So
just
I don't.
depends
I
on where your mind and your head
and
is.
then let's take it to a whole nother level where people don't understand it. We're gonna take it someplace
Go
where
ahead.
people don't
There we go with
understand.
the
Here we're gonna
Holocaust.
go. No,
No,
here we're gonna go to someplace where people don't understand, and don't come
give it to them
talking about.
anyway. Let
Yeah,
them
I'm gonna
chew it
give it
later
to you
on.
anyway.
They can chew it anyway.
Every human being have a time. We have no idea our day, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. We do not know. There's what you call mysteries of the universe, right? We don't know when our day is. My dad's day was January the 1st, 2021,
Mm-hmm.
5:11 a.m. He lived 91 years. Amazing man. Had no business, in my mind, going nowhere. He was the best
He
dad.
was a wonderful man.
He was a good husband, uncle, brother. Oh, I mean,
Father and
he was
friend.
amazing. And what he was gone.
His reward.
Yeah. See, so we can look at it like that when somebody commits suicide. Maybe they wasn't gonna get hit by a car. Maybe they wasn't gonna get thrown out of an airplane. Maybe they wasn't gonna get shot. You know.
Thrown out of an airplane.
Yeah. Some people say that they're afraid of flying. Right here, I go. I said people are afraid of flying. I said, what are you afraid of flying for? If the plane go down, you're gonna die. That was your day. What are you afraid for? Go get on the plane, go where you're going, and don't worry about it. They say, Pam, you ridiculous. But it's so many things that are difficult to face, and there's a word called compassion, understanding,
Empathy.
sympathy, empathy.
Yeah.
So we have to have that. We have to do that. I'm just saying.
I had that conversation before
Mm-hmm.
years ago when I was at my lowest point and I had nobody to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting in the room thinking about it. Thinking, man, my life is not going anywhere near the way I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I lost everything, and I heard this small voice say, "Excuse me."
You ain't lost nothing because Zemrah on her way.
he said, "You by yourself."
How dare you?
He got pissed and said, "I've been hanging with your ignorant butt for all these years and listening to all your problems, and you tell me you ain't got nobody to talk to, ain't nobody here, and ain't been nobody but you and I forever, and you saying nobody."
Right.
I am insulted.
Mm-hmm.
This is what my spirit
Spirit
told me.
told you, right.
How dare you
Right.
just minimize me and tell me you ain't got nobody? You always
And
got,
you knew, but your mind went someplace else and
yeah,
get
caught
snatched
me,
back.
pulled me. I had to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't said that since.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you always got somebody. And everybody on the planet leaves you alone, and all your friends leave you, you still got somebody.
Always. Now that's the
And
truth there.
that's what people need to know.
Yes.
They need to know that, understand that.
That's
Sometimes
why I say
things are hard.
and you got to be
you
thankful
just
and grateful for that
yeah.
because
You got
that's
to
why when
pull
you have
on
your
that.
that's why when you feel a certain kind of way, that is your God mind
Right, but
directing
Because that's
you
your
and
inner
teaching you.
being. That's your
Yes.
inner being, and
That's
God
right.
dwells. That spirit, it does dwell in you,
Yes.
whether you know it or not. But you need to know it.
Yes.
yeah, I've been hanging out with you for thousands of years. You gonna talk trash like that? Oh,
Right.
man,
Yeah.
I was so
What you say?
young.
Oops,
I
I'm
was
sorry.
like, he said anything.
I said,
I was like,
mhm.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. I don't
That's
got,
right.
you ain't got no friend. Yes, I do. I'm
That's
good.
right. Mm-hmm.
Anybody to talk to? Oh,
And
yeah,
is that why
And
you
lo
is
and
that
behold,
but is that why you sort of have
here
a
comes
calm
Zemrah.
spirit?
yeah.
And the calm, you don't let things get you, or you
They're
don't
not that important.
mhm,
Okay, how important they are, they're not that important.
mhm,
It's not enough for you to get all upset about.
mhm.
They're gonna change. And if you know the end of the story and you know what the score is at the end of the game, why are you worried about the fourth quarter? Cause you down.
got it, Mike.
Cause you down 10 points.
Mhm.
And you already know that the end of the game that you won.
Yeah.
What you upset about? You already know the end. If I know the end of the story that I'm gonna be great, I don't care
Right.
this side of the grave or the other,
Yeah.
I'm still good. Why are
Right.
you worried about today?
I tell you that's what have to be taught. And it starts in the home, quite frankly. But
You ain't gonna get it in school.
no, it shouldn't be in school. It
No,
should be
that's
in
at
the
home. That's
home.
right.
It should be in the home. But there again, our home lives are not like it was years ago where you did sit. But that's why I'm saying you've got to get some of that stuff back.
But that's what
You have to go and sit and talk and eat at dinner. Oh, you can't eat because mama's doing this and daddy's doing that,
You
and
should
daddy's
sit
got to
together as a
watch
family.
TV at least one day a week.
Absolutely.
Everybody should come to the dinner table, lunch table, breakfast table, or something. We all sit and communicate with each other, talk to each other. And I can tell you, if you did that for a year, you'll find that your life will get better.
Yes.
The first conversation
It don't even have to be that long.
no.
No, it doesn't.
The first conversation don't have to be civil. You don't have to be orderly. It's going to be disorderly. It's going to be loud. It's going to be people fussing,
Right.
talking over each other because they're used to this.
Right.
But do it anyway. And every week and every time you do it, it'll get better.
It does.
every
It
time.
Come
will.
together.
It will.
Because I've seen it happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have
Our
too.
family have had we've had
our
family
family.
meetings. We have family meetings. Now we grew up having family meetings, but there again, we grew up eating dinner. We used to eat dinner. Well, it was 6 of us, so I could remember when we were kids, and we ate breakfast together, of course. But that was years ago, and Mom didn't work at that time, and we stood around in the kitchen eating oatmeal, and everybody's had a place where you stand. We didn't have chairs, and everybody didn't have a chair, so that was in the kitchen. But when we had dinner, we sat in the dining room and we sat around the table and we ate dinner. And when we moved to our other house, we ate dinner in the kitchen, and everybody had their seat
Mm.
at the table, and we talked. We talked about whatever went on at school
Mhm.
that day, and
That's
what
right.
Dad did. Dad would talk about his job and things like that. Now, a lot of things we've learned as we got older that we didn't talk about that we probably should have, but at least we grew up with a firm foundation
Yes.
of love and respect for one another.
Yes.
And
that's where it
what we
starts.
have even to this day. All of us are now in our 60s, and we may not all agree on things. We may argue and
Debate.
debate or have different ideas of it, but that's okay. But the core of who we are, my siblings, we've got that.
Yeah.
We know we've got that, and I think that's one of the things that's missing in families.
Yeah. When you can love and respect each other, that speaks
Well, it may
volume.
not even always be respect.
But it could-
Yeah,
it'll come later.
because respect is relative.
Mhm.
And it's earned as well.
Well, you could think that you respect somebody, but then you'll learn that they don't respect you. Then that's a whole nother
And then that's
conversation,
their issue.
right? But I mean, I'm saying that the foundation is what you have to start looking at, and I'm gonna challenge women. I always
culture
get on the
varies.
women's case, but because it's that woman that she has the power to form that family, and the man, he do whatever it is he got to do. But that
The
woman,
strength comes
that
from
woman,
us.
the strength does come from
It
the
really
woman, but the
does.
man, he's got his part to play. But if the woman is smart enough to get a guy who really loves her. See, a woman, if she got a guy that love her, she gonna go ahead on to love him because she just wants somebody to do what she need and want him to do.
Mhm.
But it has to be
And-
also one that listens. Back there, that
What?
listen
Who?
too.
For the man to listen,
Yeah,
or
he's
the
got
woman
that-
to listen.
I'm saying, well, you have to listen to each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, is
But
the
then
truth.
I say this: each other have to learn when not to talk. See, I think a woman,
Yeah.
a lot of times, and I know people don't like this, but a lot of times women, we talk too much.
Tell the
We
truth,
really
man. Say
do.
that
Yeah.
again.
We really do
Say that.
because
we have so
know-
much
we,
to get out. We know
and
so
we
much.
know a lot,
We
and we
do.
really do. We know more than they know.
And we make things happen.
We do.
It's just the
Yes,
truth.
we do.
So you
but
can't-
then sometimes we got to just say, and then whisper in his ear something later. But sometimes I know that gets, our
No,
voices
because
sometimes
they-
it gets
because-
on God's nerves. I know
No,
that.
but if they think like that, then
No.
sometimes, no, Pam, now listen, I agree with what you're saying, but sometimes they can miss the mark by not listening, because most of the times when women say something, it's usually wisdom where it's definitely where they got their interest at heart.
But
It can be dealing with
I-
illness.
I'm
or it
not
can be-
I'm not even disagreeing with that. I'm not, and that's not the point. What I'm saying is your point as a woman is to get him to hear what you're saying.
yeah.
To hear what you see, to hear, not hear, to hear what you're saying. But if you're talking and he learned, you should be able to recognize that he's not hearing you. You're just
Oh,
to
yeah,
him.
yeah. Oh,
so
I can.
your point is not going to be taken. So then that's when I say you talk too much. I'm not saying that you talk too much because you don't know what you're talking about, because women, we really do. We really do know what we're talking about. We really do know a lot. But because a man is the way that he think he knows more than you, which he don't, but he think he does. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be clever.
To let him think.
We have to be clever, ladies.
Let him dream on. Huh?
Yes. And then guess what? In the end, guess what? You're getting what you want.
That's the
For
point.
him to do what you want.
that's the
Come
point.
on.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's how
But
I'm trying to say.
sometimes it doesn't matter how you present it or whatever. I still go back to the
See,
fact.
you're not gonna listen. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I heard
Because
exactly.
That's not,
I ain't
that's
missed a
not what I
mark.
mean. I
I
know
know
exactly.
exactly what you're
But
saying.
I know what you mean. But see, my thing is bottom line. See, it's the bottom line. It's the end. It's the bottom line. And you got to decide. You got to decide, what is it that I want?
I got
And
you.
I'm not trying to be just me. I'm not saying me.
What is the
I'm
most
just saying
effective
what,
way of getting it?
for getting what I want. This is what women need to say to themselves. Okay, what do I want? You got to figure that out. I don't know. He don't know. You got to know, what is it that you want?
And I
So
know how to
gotta
get what I
figure out
want.
how to
I
get
know
what I
exactly
want.
what you're
But
saying.
then you got to make sure that he gives it to you in a way that you're going to enjoy it. Do you hear what I'm saying,
I
Ed?
hear you, man.
I
I
hear
hear
what
you.
But see,
you're
y'all
saying
got to
too.
understand one thing. I had 4 brothers at home. I had the master dad, and my one brother's over. He says to me, he said, Pam, you just talk too much. Don't your jaws get tired?
So she's a
So
wit,
I
so she got
know that.
wisdom and
I
talking
know.
too much.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
But
all
when you
good.
have, but when
It's
you,
all good.
that's
It's
all that I
good.
say, that it's good for men to still listen to their women.
Well, see, here's the thing.
I think that's very
I
important. I
agree.
don't care
Wait a
what
minute,
you
wait
say
a minute.
about
I
that.
agree.
Here's the
I
thing.
agree with you. I agree.
Men may listen. You may not think they're not listening.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Okay.
listening. They just don't want to hear it.
But that's not
women-
good.
but you're not getting it.
You got to listen to
Explain
what
it
they
to
say.
No,
See,
she got to
I'm
explain
no,
nothing to me.
no. What
I'm
I'm saying, another thing that we as women do that I think, I don't know, but this is what I think. We think men don't know what they're talking about. We think that we know what they mean when they say certain things. I say that women need to listen and pay attention to what he's saying, not what you think he means or what you want him to say or think. I think that's one of the things. And we always talk about relationships and we talk about conversation or communication. Communication is not just people talking. You've got to get an understanding. And he's got to understand and you've got to understand. The situation is not going to work if you don't. I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
If you don't understand and you don't listen, now what you just said, you reverse that. It's the same. It's the same.
But
thing.
I mean, I'm not talking about just a woman and man. I'm talking about period.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
I'm saying to you too that a man should listen to what a woman say, and if he is trying to get his point across, and she don't hear him, perhaps he too need to back up and just even say to her, now to you, what did I say? What did you hear me say?
Because my thing is that men have to be very, very careful. And I know Ed is definitely guilty of this. He will tune you out, and it's because he doesn't want to hear it. And you might be saying something that's very, very critical or very, very important, but he's not really hearing you because he's just tuning you out.
So what
that's
do you
just
think,
not good.
So what do you think is the what do you think is the
wrap up? The wrap.
No,
I know.
What is the wrap up?
Is it over?
I got.
Oh my goodness!
Well, we got to wrap this up.
I got a
Listen.
philosophy. I got a philosophy. I used to say back before we got married, before I was just a player out there in the street. I told the fella, I said, let me tell you one thing. I told the women, let me tell you one thing.
I ain't available no more.
We
got to go.
A woman should always endeavor to find out where her man goes to relax.
Yes.
And be himself.
Yes. And you be yourself right here in my arms. So on that note,
she ought to know where it is. And if
it's right here in my arms.
She should be there when he gets there.
That's right.
And
so
if she can't be there, she should send a qualified representative.
Have mercy. So on that note, you were here. You were here at
You were-
Intellectual
Okay,
Radio.
we're
I
gonna
heard it 2
we're gonna
days
take
ago.
this back up
But
in
I
2
heard
weeks.
it. You know, I can do 2 things
in
at
a
one
month.
time. We are going to say we hope you enjoyed this segment of Here's the Life with Zemrah and Ed. And we always love our fabulous Pamela Wilkes.
Yeah,
And we want to say thank you for having this platform for us. We love you.
As always, I want to thank Earl and Wanda for establishing this venue so that I can be myself again.
And so we can get out of here so the next show can come on.
Come on,
Good
show.
night. Have a good night.
Love is possible when you embrace it with ease. Everything you want is yours.